Today, Jordan Brand launched their latest flagship performance basketball sneaker, the Air Jordan 39. So this morning I stopped by Foot Locker and picked up a pair to check it out. And I'll be honest, I'm not usually this excited about the latest Air Jordan numbered sneaker. I feel like they're all kind of slight iterations on older versions. However, this latest version is actually based on one of my favorite performance basketball sneakers of all time, the Air Jordan 29. Now I actually haven't seen this sneaker in person yet. I've only watched videos of it online, and I walked into my local Foot Locker and said, "Do you guys have this shoe?" And they did, and they just brought it out to me, and I said, "You know what, let's just go with the size 9. I feel like it's gonna fit true to size. Let's just do it." And so I'm taking a little bit of a risk here, but I wanted to give you guys my honest first impressions of the brand new signature basketball sneaker. But before we get to the Air Jordan 39, or Air Jordan Type 39 apparently, let's first take a look at the box. The box comes in mostly white with this interesting sort of crosshatch texture. You've got this DBoss Jordan and Jumpman logo in the center, and then this black, like, printed thing that says Air Jordan Type 39. I don't know why they're not calling it the Air Jordan 39. Apparently it's the no, they are calling it the Air Jordan 39. So the Air Jordan Type 39 / Air Jordan 39 is what we have here. Interestingly, you have a DBoss Nike Air logo on one side of the box. You don't usually have those on newer Air Jordan models. And then of course, on the front of the box, you've got the size tag. This is officially the Air Jordan 39. Not Type 39, even though it says that on the box. And the colorway that I grabbed, the first launch colorway, is the Soul colorway, comprised of white, university red, and black. Now, like I mentioned, I grabbed a size 9 from Foot Locker because I just felt like going true to size is probably the way to go. I probably should have tried it on first, and I don't recommend not trying a shoe on first before you buy it. But let's just get into it and see if I made a good decision here. All right, so the first thing I'm seeing is the paper. The paper actually has this pressed texture that looks like it says 29. It also could be 9s mirrored, and it also could be 39. From what I've heard, there's like a couple different numbers that they're trying to hide in this pattern. To me, it looks like just 29 repeated. But let's check out the sneakers. Here we go. Not too bad. So this is the Air Jordan 39, specifically in the Soul colorway, the launch colorway of the shoe. And apparently this is one of the most minimal and simple Air Jordan sneakers that they've dropped to date. Minimal and simple meaning construction-wise, not meaning material-wise. There's actually a really cool new cushioning setup in this shoe, which I'm excited to try out and let you guys know how it feels underfoot. But let me pull out the other side of the pair. Are there any extra laces or anything like that inside the box? No, there are not. It does look like there is a printed detail on the bottom. It looks like a mirrored image of Michael Jordan on the inside of the box. Apparently, mirroring is a big part of the design of this shoe, which I'm fine with. But according to Jordan Brand, there are 9 colorways of the shoe that are going to be dropping, and there's no highs dropping, and there's no lows. This is technically the only shape of the Air Jordan 39, or the only silhouette of the Air Jordan 39. I mean, just right off the bat, there's some interesting details on this shoe. Like, on the right shoe only, you've got this tag that has the same mirrored image that you have on the inside of the box, but it's not on the left shoe. Not sure exactly why that is. I kind of dig these, man, I'm not gonna lie. I was pretty excited about these shoes, like I said, because of the Air Jordan 29, but seeing them in person, they do feel a bit more premium than I was expecting. Now, I will say that the retail price of this shoe is pretty high at $200. I did, however, pay $215 at Foot Locker because maybe they hadn't adjusted the price yet. It's not because of tax, because in the Philadelphia area, you don't pay tax on shoes or sneakers or anything like that, so it's not a tax thing, it's just apparently Foot Locker just had the pricing different. There's actually a lot of design elements that I really like on this shoe, and in today's video I'm going to go over all of that. Now, this is not going to be a performance review of any kind. This is purely a first impressions, sort of material review of the sneakers. And I guess eventually if you guys do want to see a performance review, I haven't done a performance review on a pair of basketball sneakers in a couple of years, but if that's something you guys want me to take the time and do, I will do it if enough of you guys say you want me to do that. Otherwise, I'll just play basketball on these and enjoy them for myself. Now, before I try the shoe on, the element of this shoe that I'm most excited to try out is the cushioning setup. This cushioning setup sounds absolutely insane. So as you can sort of see through the semi-translucent outsole on the shoe, you've got this bottom-loaded full-length Zoom Air. And I mean, even just that is pretty solid. I mean, it's not the newest tech in the world, but it still feels good underfoot. However, this bottom-loaded Zoom Air is fully encased by Zoom X foam. So everything inside this rubber midsole and outsole and underneath your foot is Zoom X and Zoom Air. It's crazy. I'm just so excited to try this shoe on, and yes, I am buying this shoe specifically to play basketball in, but if it's comfortable, I'm not ruling out the thought of maybe wearing this shoe casually in a colorway that I really like. This white colorway would get dirty way too fast, but other colorways maybe. So at this point, why don't I try these sneakers on, see how they fit, see how they feel underfoot, because I'm so excited to try that out, and find out whether the Air Jordan 39 truly is the best Air Jordan sneaker. Well, best, newest performance basketball sneaker. Obviously, it's not the best Air Jordan. That's the Air Jordan 1. Nothing's ever going to beat that, but hey, let's just try these on. All right, so I'm about to try on the brand new Air Jordan 39s. I'm really excited to try these guys on because the cushioning setup sounds insane. So I'm really hopeful that it actually is insane. Let's find out together. Let's also find out the sizing too, because it could be completely off. Who knows? Kind of doubt it though, because Jordan Brand and Nike in general tends to be pretty good with sizing. So also, you may have noticed my brand new Apothecary socks that I've got on feet right now, which are dropping this Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern time, apothecary.com. Absolutely fire. Kind of got that sort of like
birthday cake vibe to them. I dig it. They look great with these socks too. It's crazy. But seriously, check them out at apothecary.com. Plus, these shorts are dropping soon too, so be on the lookout for those. All right, so first impression, comfort-wise, these are nice. Are they the softest shoe I've ever tried on? No, definitely not, but they are decent for a basketball shoe. Surprisingly, they do already feel like they're kind of broken in, which I think was one of the original intents when designing the sneaker, was to create a shoe that already feels like it's broken in, and they did a pretty good job of that. It feels great on foot. I mean, definitely true to size, absolutely. Maybe if you're a wide footer, possibly go up half a size, but I think even then you might be good. Like, I don't feel like my foot's like constrained in any way, but I also don't feel like I have too much room. So it's definitely a solid 1-to-1 fit, which I really, really like. Relatively breathable, pretty minimal. Does a good job of containing my feet without feeling crunchy, which I like. Some of the other basketball sneakers that are out at the moment feel like they're really clamping down on your feet. These ones, not so much. Yeah, man, and that bounce. You get a really, really nice bounce from presumably the Zoom Air. Maybe not so much the foam. The foam does feel soft underfoot though. But I will say, because the rubber is containing the foam in the air unit, it does feel like it can't compress as much as it wants to. But I think that's a stability thing, so it doesn't feel like it's unstable when you're playing basketball and cutting, because obviously the shoe was designed specifically for basketball and cutting, so that's the, I don't know why I was doing this. Solid fitting shoe. I really like the way it feels. Back to the studio.
All right, so back from the try-on, and I'm pretty happy with the way that these felt on feet. They weren't as mind-blowingly comfy as I was hoping, but at the end of the day, when it comes to basketball sneakers, you do want court feel, so you can't have something that's as mushy as maybe a recovery running sneaker. That said though, apparently one of the main focuses behind the design of this shoe is creating a sneaker that didn't need to be broken in, a shoe that already felt like it was ready to go. And from my very limited amount of trying this shoe on and walking around in it and jumping in it and not actually playing any basketball in it, this shoe did feel pretty good on feet. It didn't feel overly tight, it didn't feel like it was squeezing my foot in any way that bothered me, at least not initially. And of course, without spending a lot of time actually wearing this shoe, I will say from that initial try on, it did feel pretty good. So as you may have already figured out from just the date that this video was uploaded, this shoe released on July 23rd for a retail price of $200, like I already mentioned. Now again, I bought the shoe for $215 at Foot Locker. I don't know if the price varies from store to store, or the price might change a day or two after the release of the shoe. I've seen that happen before, and I wouldn't be surprised if over the next couple days, the price changes on Foot Locker's website to $200, which would be kind of a bummer because then I would have spent $15 extra on a shoe that I didn't need to spend $15 extra on. But the good news is, if you want a pair of Air Jordan 39s, they are not difficult to find, even in this sole launch colorway. They're still available on Foot Locker's website, on Nike's website, and of course, if you want to grab a pair of these, I've made sure to leave affiliate links to this shoe through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen and also in the links in the description below. But at this point, let's talk about some of the really cool design details and elements that found their way into this sneaker, because this shoe does feature a lot of really cool Air Jordan 9 and Air Jordan 29 inspired hits. And if you're interested in the Air Jordan 39, you might already know some of these details, because maybe you saw Tony's video that dropped like 3 months ago. He had a chance to talk to the Jordan brand designers, and if you guys want to check that video out, there will be a link in the description below. I definitely recommend it. But apparently Michael Jordan was very heavily involved in the design of the Air Jordan 39, more so than he's been since the original Air Jordan sneakers that he wore on court. And besides specifically asking for a shoe that already felt like it was broken in as soon as you put it on your feet, he also wanted a shoe that was simple and minimal and didn't have too much going on, so there wasn't too much kind of constricting your feet. One of the main design elements on this shoe is actually embroidered into the ballistic mesh upper and is inspired from wear test samples. And that's this sort of organic cracked pattern that you have running around the entire upper of the shoe. Interestingly enough, this shoe was specifically designed to handle one move incredibly well, and that's Michael Jordan's cross step. And the way that the designers at Jordan Brand created a shoe that specifically handled the cross step incredibly well was to paint a pair of Air Jordan 29s, like I said before, one of my favorite Air Jordan sneakers of all time, and have some of their internal athletes do the cross step over and over and over again until the paint started to crack and showed the stress areas on the shoe, where the crease areas were, where the shoe moved and twisted. And through that process, you got a pattern on the test sample shoe that looked a lot like what you actually have on the Air Jordan 39. Now, to my knowledge, this embroidered pattern on the upper of the shoe is not actually for any kind of stability or durability or anything like that. It's purely an aesthetic pattern inspired by the wear test samples, but it is a really cool story behind the design of this shoe, and I love the organic shapes that it creates. I also love on the sole colorway how it's really subtle. Like, it's not too in your face. It's a wild pattern, and if it was a completely different color, it would look insane. But on this colorway, they kept it simple, they kept it clean. It's white on white, but because it's a different texture and because it's got a little bit of a different sheen to it, you do notice it in certain lights, and it looks awesome, in my opinion. Does it look awesome enough to be a lifestyle shoe? Maybe. I don't think this is a bad looking shoe whatsoever, but I don't know if I can see myself rocking this casually. Material wise, this shoe is pretty simple. You've got ballistic mesh on a majority of the upper. It's obviously got an embroidered detail on it. And then you've also got what seems to be the sort of heat pressed backing on it to give it a bit more stability and durability around the bottom half of the upper. And then on the toe of the sneaker, you've got this white leather panel, which is specifically placed for containment, durability, and honestly, just style. It's a good looking panel. I like it. On the tongue, you've got some more leather. It's perforated. I don't know if the materials are going to be the same on all the different colorways. I would assume that some colorways will change up materials on different parts of the shoe, but I don't know for sure. And then on the top of the tongue, you've got this really interesting textured P with a Jumpman in the center that kind of feels like velvet. Around the back of the shoe, you've got another leather panel. You've also got this black plastic heel counter, most likely, or heel clip. Looks like it also has the word Air Jordan molded into it. And it actually seems like you've got more of these black clips running across the midfoot area of the shoe as well, most likely to increase stability, probably stop torsional twisting would be my guess. Inside the shoe, you've got a stupid amount of padding around the heel area, which is really, really soft. I like that a lot. It also locks your heel in place. And then the insole of the shoe is pretty standard. It comes in like the same sort of organic pattern that you have on the midfoot with a Air Jordan Type 39 patch stitched into the heel. Oh, that's what I was feeling underneath my heel. I didn't know that that was actually a patch. Now, I did try and remove the insole earlier before I actually put the shoe on foot, and I don't think you can remove it. It seems like it's really, really glued down, but it does feel like a standard foam insole. It's nothing special, at least from what I can, the little bit of the insole that I can feel. Again, sizing wise, I was happy with the sizing. It felt true to size. Comfort wise, it was solid. I mean, it wasn't like mind-blowing like I said earlier, but it's definitely good. I don't know if I'd go as far as saying it's the softest underfoot performance basketball shoe that I've worn, but it is definitely soft. The midsole and the outsole seem to be all one piece of semi-translucent rubber that wraps all the way around the bottom of the shoe and up onto the sides of the shoe, obviously containing the air unit and the foam in the bottom of the shoe so it doesn't compress too much to feel unstable. And I will say again, from my very, very limited amount of time trying this shoe on, it did feel pretty stable underfoot. One detail that I thought was kind of interesting on this shoe that's kind of hidden is that you've got this grid pattern on the medial side running along the, I guess the midfoot of the shoe. And this grid pattern apparently has 39 squares or 39 shapes to symbolize the Air Jordan 39. And actually molded into the outsole a little bit farther up on the toe, you've got Michael Jordan's signature. Getting to the bottom of the shoe, the traction pattern on the outsole seems to be this sort of cross-hatched herringbone, which I'm really interested to see how well that grips. I mean, it feels like it grips pretty well. But again, very, very limited experience with this shoe. I'm just kind of slamming it into a table. So stupid. But I mean, this is like the right kind of wood. It does feel like it's not moving. I don't know, maybe it's good. I really don't know. And then the final element, of course, is the Jumpman printed on the Air Zoom unit on the outsole. It's upside down, seemingly, but of course, when you lift the shoe up like this, like when you're walking, you'll see it the right way up, which I thought was a cool touch. Like I mentioned earlier, this shoe was inspired by both the Air Jordan 29 and the Air Jordan 9, because for whatever reason, Jordan Brand likes to have shoes inspired by sneakers 10 years earlier or multiples of 10 earlier. An interesting design strategy, but apparently on this shoe, there are some very subtle Air Jordan 9 touches. The first Air Jordan 9 inspired element is apparently this texture on the tongue, which is inspired by that globe on the heel of the Air Jordan 9. It's obviously not exactly the same, but it is inspired by that detail. Another super subtle detail are these two little triangles on the toe, which apparently are inspired by the Air Jordan 9's ventilation pattern. And knowing that, it makes sense. I mean, that's exactly how they look on the Air Jordan 9, but it's definitely not something I would have ever guessed. Another hit that I already sort of talked about with the paper in the box is that you've got these mirrored 9s sort of pressed into the bottom of the toe. They could also be a 29. I guess they could be a 39, maybe, but that's kind of a stretch. I don't know, but it's there. But that's pretty much all there is to know about the brand new Air Jordan 39 without actually taking it out on court. It's a brand new minimalist Air Jordan sneaker. It features details inspired by the Air Jordan 9 and the Air Jordan 29, and it features an incredibly soft cushioning setup that has both Zoom Air and Zoom X. And visually, it's a pretty clean looking shoe. I'm excited to see some of these other upcoming colorways. I'm excited to see some more PEs. Obviously, we saw Paolo Banchero's PE back in the playoffs when he first showed off the shoe. That's gonna be something I'm looking forward to, especially as the basketball season starts once again. Overall, I mean, first impression seems like it's a pretty solid new sneaker from Jordan Brand. Does it blow my mind initially? No, but I do think it's a shoe that has a lot of potential. I do think that there is a chance that this could be a great on-court performance shoe, but until I actually wear it, I don't know for sure. But hey, at this point, I would love to know your thoughts on the Air Jordan 39 and whether you're planning to grab a pair or whether there's any colorways that you're looking forward to. So let me know those thoughts in the comment section down below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.